Hello everybody and welcome back. So what we are doing, we ended up here, and this is where we are, and we are aiming to do these ones. So this is what we are aiming to do. We are working on the red flappy stuff, and at the moment we are working on the top part. And you see, it's only 4 and we have more up here. So here it is like 8 of them, something. So we're gonna do some more, and the way we can do that is to let's do subdivide. So what we're gonna do here, this one, if we just subdivide this one to this resolution, that means that this edge ring will give us 8 pieces. So that's nice. Now we have a little bit more resolution up here. So now we have these ones, and now let's take care of the edges or the arms. So we will actually copy this one here. And we will use the arms. So in the same way, we are selecting the edges like this. And I'm actually going to do it like this. So we only work with one more arm, and then we're going to use the mirror down here. So what we can do, if we take this one and do right click and do, let's see, actions, create reference copy. Now this one is actually doing everything the same as in this one. So now we know if we are change anything in this one here, it will be the same here. So that's great. So here we have the edges. And as you can see, we don't have the correct ones because we want to be out here, but we are getting inside the body here because we need to change some stuff going on here. And we have, this is taking the maximum of the eye position, but we're actually going to do it. We're going to copy this part and put it in the X, but we're going to use the X instead. And in the eye, we want it to be on the centroid, like this. So now we have the centroid with this 0 is the input, and then dimension I. So now we have it here. So now we have the ring on the edge. So that's perfect. And then we need to set the normal where we want to extrude. So we don't want to extrude upwards here. So we're going to change that to be in the X instead. So now you see it pointing in the right direction. And here we have extruding like this, and then we have remove every second. Perfect. And then we have the colors, and it's actually taking from here black up to red one here, but we want it to be here to here. So we need to change these dimensions here. So the min going to be on the X and the max X, and we're just going to use the position X instead. Now it's 0 to 1. And then we do mirror. So we have 2, and then we merge it. We have, it's extruding in the wrong direction actually. So we're going to do positive. Perfect. And now I can actually see that they are a little bit darker here and brighter here. So we're going to do a reverse here. So we kind of, no, that didn't work. And we need to do the normals as well. So we do the normals. And now it works. So we want it like this. So we just make sure that the top also are, they are correct. So this is the base of our cool Windman mesh. And I want more resolution on these ones. So I'm just going to do here, I'm going to make a subdivide. So before we do the group stuff, we're making these subdivides, so that's perfect. So what do we got here? Well, we have these parts. We can also color this red, so we kind of know this is the flappy stuff going on. So we have it here. So that's great. And yeah, this is the arm. So we have the arm here and the body here. So now we have a really good procedural setup here. So whatever we change, everything works. So if we do the size here, we want a bigger one. Yeah. So here it bugs out because this box here is too small, but we won't have that big, so we don't need to address that. And now we need to unwrap this, and because we're going to have a face on it. I'm just going to make this. So if we do UV and we do project here, if we look here on the UV mapping, you see it's very small. And what I'm going to do, let's see here, I'm just going to do, if we do scale to 1. So I'm going to have it like this, and I'm going to move it down a bit. And then we're going to scale it down a little bit more, and then scale it down a bit like this. So the reason I just do project like this is because in Unity, later when we do the shader, you can see it here, it's projecting. So this represents the UV grid here. And I'm just going to have a texture with a face. So this face is UV mapped here. And I'm going to address with it's not on the backside too. And then we have this smooth stuff going on. So this is the only UV mapping we're going to do. And it's going to look like this. And it's going to be sufficient to have this setup. So later in the Unity, we're just going to have a non-tiling texture over here. So that's great. So we're just going to leave it like this. So we're going to have a null node here because now we're finished with these stuff. And this is going to be the geometry. So here we have it. This is the geometry part. And now we're going to doing the splines or skeleton. So we're going to do the skeleton here. And this is how it looks now. And yeah, see if we can just make it a little bit more tidy. I want it like this. Yeah, it was pretty good actually. So if we take an object merge and we take here, so this is going to be the body merge. So we take the spline like this. Now we have the spline here, and if we make another one, this one going to be the arm merge. So this is going to be the arm here. So if we can work with this one. So we have here we have the body and we have the arm. So this is great. So we're going to work with this to make the skeleton. And it's pretty straightforward. So we have no resolution on the lines. So if we do a resample node and put it here, now we have a lot of bones here, but we're going to remove this maximum segment length and do the maximum segment. And here we can decide how many bones we want. And I'm going to go for 8. And you see here, the arm is up here. I'm going to move it down. So if I just go here and go, see, I want it to be aligned here. So I'm going to go there. That's nice. And then I'm going to have a resample here too. So now this arm going to have, 1, 2, 3, 4 segments. So that's going to be nice. Then we're gonna name these joints, because if we just use orient joints like this, now we kind of make joints of these, and that's perfect. And if we look here, we when we create the mesh later, I want the names to be here, because then in here, if we open up this mesh here, you can see here we have the bones. So you see here we have all the bones. So I want it to be named bone, and bone arm left, and bone arm right. So the way to do that, we're going to use a wrangler, and I'm going to use these on the points. So it's going to be set bone name. And here, first off, we're going to have a string, and it's going to be the index. And the way we do this, if you do sprint f, and if you just do percentage sign 0 to d, and then you do at pt num, now you have the point num at 2 digits. So what we can do here is name is equal to bone underscore, and then we do plus index. Now you see we have bone 0, 0, 0, 1, and up, and so forth. So that's perfect. So we're going to do the same here on the arm. So this one going to be the bone left arm. So now you see we have bone left arm. Perfect. And before we merge them, we're going to make sure that we have a skeleton mirror here, because now we get arms on the right side too. So we want to change the L to R, and we have the L in the middle, you see here. So we just change it to middle, and now we have R. So this is great. Now we have it. This is the skeleton. We're just going to combine it. So this is going to be connected to here. And of course, there's a pretty easy solution. So we're just going to do parent joints. And then we're going to do 2 of them. So this is going to be joint 1. So this joint wants a parent. And so this bone wants a parent. So here we just do arm left. Going to be, and we're going to have bone. We can take 3. I'm going to show you something, and then accept. Now you see that if we look here, it's actually take the wrong one down here. So if you middle mouse and start dragging here, you can just move it. So we're going to have the same here for the right arm. So perfect. Now the rigging is done. So now we have the skeleton made, and it's going to control this shape. So it's going to be perfect. So here we're going to have a null. And this is going to be our skeleton. Perfect. So here we have the body and the arms. Now, when we have it clean like this, and we have a 1 out, 2 outputs here for each part and section. Now we just do this object merge again. So we're going to have this. It's going to be the geo. Geo in we can do. So this is going to be black, and we do like that, and then this one gonna be the skeleton. I'm gonna change it to that color and make sure we put the skeleton in here. And if you want to see the connections, you can just go to view and do the show for all nodes. So now you see where the connection is. That's super nice. But I'm going to remove it. I don't want it. So what we're going to do, we're going to rig this together. We're going to kind of bind the mesh and so forth to the skeleton. So there are some nodes for this. So we're going to have, first off, we're going to use a bone capture lines. There's going to be bone capture lines. Now you see here, it makes a lot of points here. And I'm going to move it up a bit. I don't want so many. I'm going to do it later. Hopefully I can show why I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to do Tetem embed. So this one here needs the mesh. So what's happening here? We are creating some kind of binding mesh with this one. So here we do a lot of high resolution joints or something like that. And then we do this mesh out of that one. We can kind of change this resolution and stuff. But I'm going to leave it at default. And then, so here, bone capture by harmonic. That's the one that kind of, this one is adding the weight to the mesh. So this one is actually, this part here is still the skeleton part. And now we are, with this bone capture by harmonic, adding the weights to the mesh. So now you can see bone capture, so bone 8, and here it's bone left arm. So now we actually, yeah, put the weights on it. And I can see this looks a little bit ugly. I'm going to address that right away. So where is this happening? Subdivide. Okay, I think I'm going to remove that one. No, actually, I'm going to do billionaire. And then I'm going to do tryouts move instead. That didn't turn out good at all. So what's going on here? So let's see if I change the width of the arms. Will it be better? No. Well, this was ugly. Subdivide. It didn't work at all as I intended. Well, that kind of looked a little bit better, but still a little bit weird. If I do subdivide before, maybe, and then smooth. Yeah, and then another one. Let's see how that turns out. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty high res, but oh, that doesn't look good at all. Okay, that looks good enough. So it's going to be a pretty high res, but you could do some low poly ones for loading and stuff, of course, but let's leave it like this. It's okay. So down here we have it rigged. And we can debug this and see if it works really well. So the way we can debug this is if we take the skeleton here and we have, I think it's this point deform. No, it's bone deform. If we do bone deform here and set it up like this, rig pose. So now if we set it up like this, there is nothing going on here. But if we take this pose here, and then if we select all and then we kind of do something about it. And check here. And now you see it works really good. And now we can see if we reference this one and see the bone. Yeah, it's following well enough. And here you can see it's a little bit hard edges here. So that's why here in the bone capture lines, I'm going to make the less resolution on the lines. So these lines going to be less. So I'm going to take it to 4. And it's not getting so much better. Let's see if I do a little bit more. Yeah, it's getting a little bit smoother. So that's how I'm going to use it. That's nice. So you see there's a less resolution to it, but that's fine for me. So the last thing now is to, if you do this, this is going to be the debug part. So we don't really need that part. Now, if we do a ROP character output, now we're just going to use this is the skeleton that we made, right? So we want to export it with the character. So we're going to put it here, and then we're just going to have a configure clip info, this one. Now I'm just going to make these ones here because I experienced if I need to do this, otherwise it doesn't work properly. So I guess it needs these kind of information. So here we have the clip names, we have the clip name default, and we're exporting the default. It won't do anything. It's going to be Windman. And if we export this one, save to disk, and let's see what's going on here. Skin geometry, both name and path primitive attribute are missing. Okay. So we need to add mesh name, and so I'm going to do name is equal to, so this is going to be mesh name. And it's important to have this on the primitive. So here you do primitive. And now if we save, no, it didn't work. Oh yeah, I didn't do this properly. So now we can do the Windman mesh. All right, let's try it out. Try it out again. Okay, now it works. I'm just going to save it so we know it works. And in Unity, we go into our empty scene here. And now we have the Windman that we made. Perfect. And here we have the bones. So if we do some rotation on this one, it works. Perfect. So this is super nice. And maybe you notice here that we don't have both sides rendered. And the way I'm going to address it, I'm going to do it in here. I'm going to do it. So we do this by harmonic capture. And that's great. Now we have the outside. And now we want an inside. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do like reverse. So here we have a reversed one where the normals is inverted. Then we're just going to have an attribute transfer. So this one going to go in the second one. And we're going to do, let's see, if we leave it like this, it should, yeah, you see, bone capture, it is transferred. So that's perfect. And now we can just merge these ones. And if we save here, now you see we have an inside. Perfect. And also here we do set mesh and material. So I'm also going to do here material path. I think it's connected like this. It is going to be the material name. And it's going to be Windman material. So if we save now and check it out, and the mesh, Windman mesh is having a lit. Yeah. I don't know. I was expecting it to say Windman material, but nevertheless, it's okay. We're going to address it later. But the bone seems to work like it should. So this is nice. And if we take the arm and rotate it, it works. Looks great. Cool. So it's getting pretty long tutorial here. One of the longer I've done for a while, but let's see. The last thing I just want to make is a box to have in the bottom here. So we're going to make it really quickly here. So this is going to be this part. So we're actually going to have it one more time here. And then this is going to be merged like this. Because, or actually to be safe so nothing goes wrong, I'm going to do like this. This is going to be a box here. So it's going to be, we're going to use a match size. So we have it. This is going to be on the min. So we're only going to make sure that the minimum is on the grid like this. So this is perfect. And then I'm just going to do a bevel and make sure we do some bevel on it like this. And yeah, make an UV flatten. And then here, this is going to be the box mesh, and it's going to be box matte. And this is going to be scaled 100 times because we need to compensate between Houdini and Unity scale. So it's correct size in the Unity. So we're going to have a ROP FBX output like this, and this is going to be the box. And we're going to have UV unwrap. That's going to be better. Yeah, that's going to be better. So this is going to be a box, and this is going to be the box that we're going to have in the bottom. So if we save this one, we have a box. Isn't it lovely? Then we have the Windman, and it's going to be in the center. And the box is a little bit too big, so we're just going to reference and make it like this. Save it again. Perfect. All right, really long tutorial, but I hope you got through it. So thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.